You know, in fields all around the world, there's an invisible war being fought every single day. Today, we're going to dive into the future of farming with a company called Green Gold Biotech, and we'll explore how their tiny, microscopic allies are helping to turn the tide in this massive global battle.
So let me ask you, what do you think is the biggest threat to our food supply? Is it drought, pests, maybe? Well, the real answer is actually much, much smaller and a whole lot sneakier. We're talking about an invisible enemy that costs the global economy tens of billions, yeah, billions with a B, every single year. All right, let's start with a number, $950 million. That is the annual damage from just one disease, bacterial wilt, which absolutely devastates everyday crops like tomatoes and potatoes. And believe me, that's just the start.
Now, let's just blow that number out of the water. How about $18.2 billion? That's the estimated loss so far from Panama disease, a fungus that's threatening the world's most popular banana, the Cavendish.
And for the final number, get ready for this. $66 billion. That's the staggering annual cost of a single disease called rice blast. I mean, the financial damage from these invisible little pathogens is almost impossible to wrap your head around.
But you know, this isn't just about the money. Not at all. This is a full-on, high-tech battle being fought on farms all across the globe. Farmers are out there on the front lines, fighting this constant, invisible war against diseases that threaten to wipe out their harvests and ultimately our food security.
So let's get to know the enemy, right? Let's take a closer look at these antagonists. We're talking about billion-dollar blights. These are the microscopic villains of our story, and they're putting our staple foods at risk everywhere.
And don't think for a second these are some far-off, exotic problems. We're talking about wilts, spots, and blights affecting the foods you and I eat every day. Tomatoes, melons, rice, mangoes, and bananas. Make no mistake, these diseases are a truly global threat.
So let's take bacterial wilt. This one is particularly nasty. It basically gets inside the plant's vascular system, you can think of it like the plant's veins, and just blocks the flow of water. The plant literally chokes from the inside out, which leads to that sudden wilting and, well, death.
Then you've got Panama disease in bananas. It's a fungus that lives in the soil and does a similar thing, invading the vascular system. But here's the truly terrifying part. The pathogen can survive in the soil for decades, making entire plantations completely useless for a whole generation.
This quote really just illustrates the sheer human cost of all this. The amount of rice lost to this one disease every single year could feed 60 million people. Let that sink in for a second. This is way more than an agricultural problem, it's a humanitarian crisis.
So how do we fight back? For decades, the answer has always been more chemicals. But what if there's a better way? What if the solution isn't another pesticide, but a living, microscopic army of allies?
The solution is agricultural probiotics. Now, it's a lot like the probiotics that help our own immune systems. These are beneficial microorganisms that give plants a major helping hand. They act like tiny engineers, improving the soil, and like microscopic chefs, unlocking vital nutrients. They basically supercharge a plant's natural defenses to help it fight off disease.
The potential here is just huge. I mean, think about it. This approach enhances our food security by protecting crops. It gives us an organic way to control disease. It protects the environment by cutting down on chemical use, and ultimately, it supports a much more sustainable model of farming for the future.
And this isn't just some cool theory. Green Gold Biotech is already putting this science into practice, developing some really innovative products that are getting results in the real world.
I mean, just look at the data from their field studies. In Taiwan, melon fields that didn't have any biocontrol saw a 26% infection rate of Fusarium wilt. With the probiotic application, the disease was controlled. It was the exact same story down in Ghana with bananas, a 22% infection rate versus a totally controlled field. The results really speak for themselves.
And the company has a whole range of solutions to make this happen. Everything from organic compost fertilizers that revitalize the soil to crop protection agents like their BioGuard product, which is engineered to fight some of the most notorious bacterial and fungal diseases out there.
Now here's a key benefit for all of us. Because these are natural, biological strains, they're completely residue-free. This means zero risk of pesticide residues on our food, which is a huge step forward for our health and for the environment.
But the vision here is even bigger than just fighting disease. It's really about reimagining the entire agricultural system. It's about creating a future that is circular, a future where nothing is wasted.
Okay, let's use rice production as an example. In a circular model, you start by growing the rice with biofertilizers. After the harvest, the waste, the shells, stems, and bran, isn't thrown out. It's recycled into animal feed. The animal waste is then converted into high-quality organic fertilizer, which goes right back to the farm to nourish the soil for the next crop. It's a perfect loop.
The guiding principle here is simple, but it's incredibly powerful. Put the resource back to the soil. It's a closed-loop system that actually regenerates the land, reduces waste, and creates a truly sustainable system.
So it really leaves us with this one final thought. In a world that's facing these enormous challenges to feed a growing population, could it be that the most powerful solutions, the real keys to our future, are actually too small for us to even see?
Thanks for checking out this explainer. To learn more about this really innovative approach, you can visit the Green Gold Biotech website. We'll see you next time.